In our brain scanning studies, we found activity in a particular brain region among those who were happily in love long term, and it's a brain region linked with what we call positive illusions, the simple ability to do exactly what you said, to overlook what you don't like about the person and focus on what you do.
So is it possible for two people to stay in love forever, or at least for the long term?
Melanie, I would love to talk to that, because I want to differentiate between falling in love, being in love, and loving.
Okay.
All right. Well, when you fall in love, you can't tolerate that for too long, because you can't eat and you can't sleep and you worry, is he going to call and is she going to find me attractive, and am I sexy enough, am I sensuous enough, do I have the right clothes? And that's breathless. But if there is the mutual feeling of this is something special, you are in love, and you think, oh, these little quirks about somebody, they're so cute, and maybe they annoy me, but I can change them. I can change them. And then you really get to know a person, and I think you go from being in love to loving, and understanding the joy and the commitment and the peace that comes with loving. But if you work hard at your communication and your intimacy, sometimes you once again find that in love feeling and all of the cares melt away, and it's deeper than ever. And so if you work at it, it will go on that way, becoming deeper and deeper.
Okay.
Well, in fact, I think we've evolved three distinctly different brain systems for mating and reproduction. One is the sex drive, second one is feelings of intense romantic love, and third is feelings of deep attachment. And I think in a long-term relationship, most people want all three of them. But anyway, we do a lot of brain scanning, I and my brain scanning partners, and we have proven that you can remain in love, not just loving, not just attached, but in love long-term. We have now put 17 people who were all in their 50s and 60s, and all maintaining that they were madly in love with their partner, into the brain scanner. And in fact, we found that they showed the same activity in some of the basic brain regions as among those who had just fallen happily in love. The difference was that among those people who had just fallen happily in love, as you say, there was a lot of activity in brain regions linked with anxiety. Am I too fat? What did I say that for? How come he did this? But in the long-term lovers, there was no longer activity in those brain regions, and now we found activity in brain regions linked with calm and pain suppression. So you can remain in love long-term.
I'm happy to hear that you can. My clients all say that you work hard to keep that, but I think that's a very astute point, Helen.
So that's a good transition. So if the science is there to prove that we can, the question is, how do we do it?
Well, interestingly, I think we have a negative bias in our society. We say that 50% of couples fail, 50% of couples don't make it. But what about the 50% who do?
Right.
50% of people make it, and those statistics are even skewed. And so how do they do it? I think they do it because they learn to make perfection of imperfection.
Perfect. You know what? In our brain scanning studies, we found activity in a particular brain region among those who were happily in love long term, and it's a brain region linked with what we call positive illusions, the simple ability to do exactly what you said, to overlook what you don't like about the person and focus on what you do.
So interesting.
Love that idea of focusing on what is good in a relationship, because that is, you can't focus on the negative if you're focusing on the positive. And the more you focus on the positive, the more it builds a habit. And then as you are focusing on your partner and how much you love them, it feels awesome for them. And that connection just stays there.
I have a personal example that I use. I used to go out with a man who was really slow. He walked slowly, he talked slowly, he thought slowly. He was so slow. But I would say to myself, he was a brilliant man. I just adored him, but he was so slow. And I finally said, he's slow at walking and talking, but when we go to a museum, he will look at a picture for so long and really get into it. He'd read me almost all all of Shakespeare. He's read me all kinds of things. You know, we've gone all over the world together, and he so absorbs things. So I would say to myself, okay, he's slow at walking, he's slow at talking, but all these other gifts that come from that slowness. You have to turn lemons into lemonade.
Yeah. So it sounds like the question of can you stay in love forever or at least long term, the answer is absolutely yes. It takes work, but there's science behind it. We all just have to put the effort there.